Hello.
You right?
I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm not too bad, thanks. Not too bad. Very tired today.
Oh, well, you're back
Bit,
training, right?
yeah, a bit warm outside as well, so it's raining and
Yeah, I think you guys got good weather as well. So did we. It's like it was raining all week, and then today it was just sun was splitting the rocks.
it was up to 31, I think, earlier on today.
Oh, no
So
way.
just too warm. Like I'm scared. I'm afraid to go outside. It just saps the energy.
So what would Dom do with you guys on a sunny day? Would you still be inside or would you take it outside?
Yeah. We just train in the gym most days. We do some runs outside and that, but sometimes he takes us on road bikes. Go out and get some miles on the bike. So he does mix it up with quite a fair bit. You know, to be honest with Dom, he's very good. He's got an open mind when it comes to training. He's not stuck in his own ways. You know.
Well, his bike and his bike trails. I mean, he's infamous. Anyone who follows him on Instagram, he's always off up a mountain somewhere on his bike and heading off at like 6, 7 in the morning. And I know you guys kind of get
Yeah.
dragged along. Is that willingly, or is it like, are you just kind of
Yeah.
like,
Well, we
mate?
don't really have a choice, but
Yeah, I was
we
thinking.
don't really have a choice. But it is a bit of fun. It mixes the training up in this. So I suppose it's better than running on a running machine inside. It's get out, get some fresh air and have a bit of fun and a workout while you're out there.
Absolutely. And you're well settled in the team now.
Yeah. I've been here. Do you know? I don't even know how long I've been here, but I think it's like probably just over a year and a half.
Yeah.
So yes, I'm comfortable here now. Sorry, my watch started going off there. I'm pretty satisfied with what I got. Yeah, so I've been here over a year and a half. It's good. I'm settled. I'm happy in my surroundings and got a great bunch of people at the gym to bother and to learn off and everything every day. So it's good. It's a really good environment.
Does it take a while? Obviously you're there for a reason. You're professional athletes. You're there to do a job essentially. But do you still, when you start in a gym, someplace new like that, do you still kind of get those, I suppose, nerves, or does it get a little bit weird, or how long does it take before you settle in?
Yeah, it does. Obviously spent a little bit of time around the Ingle gym before I made the move. That's why I knew I wanted to go there, because I've been to the gym a couple of times over the past few years. Mainly sparring with Kelbrook. So like when he was training for the Golovkin fight and maybe even the Porter fight, I don't know, but I've been back and forth a couple of times, and I always knew like it was a great feeling walking into the gym, and it's had that something about it, just knowing that they've produced all them champions and everything over the years. So it was always one of them places where even when I weren't looking for a new gym or new trainer, I always thought I could end up here.
Yeah.
It's just one of them places which I don't know, I can't even describe it, to be honest. I don't know if you've ever been to the Ingle gym, but you'd have to be there and get a feel for it before you understand what I'm trying to say,
Yeah. What as a fighter, what were you looking for?
What was I looking for?
Yeah, in terms of like the guidance, or we'll say the coaching elements, what do you need as a fighter from your coach?
The main thing for me was I needed to get away from my surroundings in Wales. I'm not saying I was around like bad people or doing bad things, but it was just like I started to lose track of where I wanted to be, and I just started getting caught up in certain things, and I started going out a lot more than I should be and wanted to be. But then it's easy to get sucked into when you're around it constantly. But for me, I think it was mainly just I needed something fresh, and I knew I needed a trainer who was as driven as I am, as dedicated as I am. And I also needed a good bunch of people around me who I could bounce off and you know, compete with. So it just ticked all the boxes for me, to be honest with you. And I've spoken about it many times with Dom. I feel like even within weeks of training in the gym, I had, you know, I feel like I've got a good connection with him.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me. I feel like I can talk to Dom about anything, like not just boxing or sport, but if I get any troubles outside of the ring, I go and talk to Dom, because I always walk away from there in a good frame of mind. He just speaks sense. He doesn't beat around the bush or fill you full of shit. You know, he's straight talking, and it is what it is, and he always gives you that peace of mind and knowing what you're doing is the right thing.
Absolutely. And I think when any of us kind of think about Ingle Gym and the heritage or the legacy of the gym, that's sort of definitely one of the qualities that's always come through in terms of with Brendan as well, that it was more than a coaching role. It was sort of all encompassing, and it was about, you know, being a better human, I suppose, not only an athlete, and also, you know, being a good member of society, I suppose, as well.
Yeah, that's right. Everything you just said, basically, I agree with. And what I like about the gym is they don't, like with that gym, is kind of, if it's not broke, don't fix it. They've stuck to it's all the same kind of footwork drills, you know, same kind of training methods. Probably all I would say Dom has brought to is probably more like kind of explosive running, you know, intervals and stuff, and maybe a bit of weights here and there. But in terms of the boxing, everything is all the same. You have a lot of body sparring. You know, they don't believe in slugging it out every day in the gym. Like Dom trains you he's a smart trainer. I've been with so many trainers, or been around a lot of trainers who, when you're tired, they always try and get that extra mile out of you, or they try and push you to, you know, so they say, mentally toughen you up and all this bullshit, if you ask me. But I think it's just more about being smart and knowing when to knock off and get your rest. Have a day off tomorrow if you need it. It's just about that kind of stuff, which I like. Dom is he's very smart. He's a book of knowledge. That's what I call him.
Well, I did have him on a couple of weeks ago, and you know, I've had a few of the, like, Junior Witter, I've had Richard Towers, a couple of the guys that you know have come from the gym, and the stories that they have, you know, you don't even have to do an interview, you just have to listen to them talk about like all the different stories that have gone on over the years. But one thing that Brendan had said, or that Dominic had said, is that, you know, he obviously is a very full-on coach and he looks after all areas, like you say, but he also said that there's a massive degree of you guys having to have the brain, I suppose, to take responsibility for yourselves and to meet the challenge.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like all of us in the gym, maybe apart from one or two, are all experienced enough now to have a good understanding of what we need to be doing. But to be fair, Dom is always there. Like he's had quite a big impact on me. You know, it's like I feel like he's been a bit of a life coach. I look at things a lot differently now to what I used to. Even when I go home at the weekends back to Wales, he'll send me a text like, cook this for lunch, this for breakfast, this for dinner. Do you know what I mean? He's like, he is very full on. He dedicates his life to it. And like, say I'm sparring tomorrow morning, he'll text me tonight. He'll be like, right, wake up at this time, eat this for breakfast, take these vitamins, take that. Do you know what I mean? He's on it, like it's something you can never take away from him, that he's fully dedicated to what he does. And that's all you can ask for, really.
100%. I was watching, when I knew you were coming on today, I was watching like some of your old fights. And, you know, on YouTube, when you click a fight and it'll just automatically go on to the next video. And there was I can't remember who'd done it, but it was like a little mini documentary or something. It was you, Kid, and Lee Reeves.
Yeah, it was a BBC documentary, I believe, yeah?
Yeah, I think so. But you're at the kitchen table chatting, and Dom is just like handing you all plates of food. I was like, that's what you want. So you want to coach this stuff.
Oh, no, you're on about I know the one you're on about. That since I've been here, I thought you was on about a previous one, which was done quite a few years ago, and it was called The Valleys Fighter. You should take a look.
I started watching that. I have to finish it. I didn't have enough time. I had to
Yeah,
go
yeah.
like make
And
few
it
calls,
was
but I've
like,
seen this. Yeah.
it was when, well, my daughter's 4 now, and I didn't have, she was, I don't even think she was thought of then, to be honest with you. And my nephews are 10, look, and they were, it must have been 8 years ago, because they were still like very young. They were in a, yeah, it's good. You should finish watching it. Very good.
I will, because I was hooked from the opening scene where it has that old guy, like, is he at the bar or something? There's like a little.
That's my, I don't know if it's the one you're on about, but there was the older fella in it called Ivor Bartlett.
Yeah,
He was
it's the
my,
one, it's the valley of something.
with the dye cap on.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, him. He, to be honest, he had a massive impact on my career as well. Since I was 9 years old, he trained me up until I was 18, and he was another Dom, you could say, like just everything. He just talked to you about.
What a disaster!
So sorry. Do you know
I'm
what?
going to start dishing out fines for this
I
kind
didn't
of
know what
these
was going on
mishaps.
because bloody my phone was plugged in, and I just assumed that it was charging, and then when I looked, fucking
I was
sorry.
like, he'll be back now any minute. Any minute.
Yeah.
Any
Oh,
minute.
no, I'm really sorry about that.
But no, you're
My bad.
totally fine. Don't worry about it. But if anyone who's watching who sent in a question, send them in again. I'm going to get you to answer the questions at the end of the interview, but they'll have to write them again because they're gone now.
Yeah.
So you were saying about your documentary, the Valley one. You were talking about the gentleman who's in the start of it, and that he was a massive influence on your
Yeah.
career.
Yeah, that's right. So that's it's a man called Ivor Bartlett. Pete, most people know him as. And yeah, but he just lives down, like maybe I would say 15 to 20 doors away from me in the street. And he's always, like, we've lived close all our lives. So I always used to walk to his house. He used to give me a lift to the gym, train me, bring back home. If I pulled a muscle, he'd be massaging me. If I'd be upset about something as a kid, he'd be talking to me. Like, just, like I said, he's kind of like Dom in many ways, like just, cover all areas.
Wow. Do you still see him?
I do, yeah, I see him as much as I can. It's obviously a bit difficult with me being in Sheffield at the moment because, well, for obvious reasons, I'm here 5 days a week. When I get home at the weekends, I obviously have my daughter, try to make time for my girlfriend, all that kind of stuff. So, but I still see him as much as I can. And obviously this COVID business now is, I don't really want to go anywhere near him because I don't want to be the one to make him ill, do you know what I mean? So, but yeah, we see each other a fair bit, and this watch is going mental. Yeah, I try and catch up with him once a week and maybe take him for a bit of breakfast and a coffee and all that kind of stuff. So it's nice we still keep in contact.
It's funny.
He's my biggest fan as well.
I was just about to say, because like boxing is one of those like amazing sports that like people don't really know how much of an impact that they can have on fighters of the future, and also what impact it can have to just bring someone to a gym and to kind of like show them the ropes, I suppose, or get them involved in the sports. Like, to think that when you were 9 years old and he was helping you get involved in boxing and sort of inspiring you and looking after you, who knew that you would go on to achieve what you have achieved, you know?
Yeah, exactly. I certainly didn't, and I don't think he probably did because he obviously knew I was good, but he knew I was a little fucker of a kid at the same time. So he probably thought I was going to go elsewhere and do whatever else. But, thank God I'm here and I'm doing good. And I do feel like I owe him a lot. And hopefully one day I can, well, someday soon I can bring a world title home and kind of, just say thanks to him for everything.
Absolutely. I mean, when you look at how far you've come in your career and everything that you have achieved, and obviously now the world title is next, mandatory for your shot. when you think about all those times, you know, all the hard training sessions, like before you turn pro, everything that's led you to this point, does it feel as you expected it to feel, being in line for a world title shot?
Nah. It excites me, obviously. The fact that I'm very near to the top of the sport, or, you know, become world champion. But it's not what people envision. Like, I'm sure you've seen things like, I've seen something that Dave Allen put on Instagram a couple of days ago about how glamorous boxing is. It's not always the best. It's not always the best, but it's kept me on the right path in life. It's given me a good life. I've earned some, not mega money yet, but I've earned very good money, and it gives me a chance to live a good life and support my family and whatever else. So it's a lot more than many other things would have done for me.
Mm-hmm. Do you feel like, I suppose, a sense of, not that something's missing, but that you'll attain a certain joy or happiness when you win that world title?
Yeah, I think I've been waiting for my chance quite a while now, I would say, and I think when I do win that world title, it's just going to drive me to want to do more, win more belts and be in bigger fights, maybe even move weight divisions again. Just all these kind of things I see, fighters going through weight divisions, win world titles, and, you know, making big matchups and stuff. And it's something I've always wanted to do, and I'm sure we will do that.
100%.
Just to keep me excited and keep me striving for more, you know.
Well, that kind of leads on to the next question that I wanted to ask you, in that, you know, when you're growing up, or when you're new to a sport, or you're new to a certain career, you have all these goals and aspirations, and like saying something like, I'm going to be a world champion, it's attainable, but it's sort of, when you start, it's so far away, there's a lot of work to do. So I think that the kind of aspiration of being, I'm going to be a world champion, it's sort of like still very much a dream. When you get to it actually being a reality, how do you still plan for goals? Like, is it you move weight classes? You know, there's different things that you want to achieve. Like, do you have to keep the goalpost moving, I suppose?
Yeah, you just have to keep setting them further back. So you have to keep challenging, I suppose. Just keep setting yourself new goals. And if I'm being honest with you, I've exceeded already more than I ever thought I was going to do.
Mm-hmm.
I never thought I was going to even turn pro. Then I turned pro, and I thought I'd have a few fights and a couple of quid. I never even visioned myself fighting for a British title. Then I won a British title. I'm thinking, fuck, this is easy. And then I want to win more and more. And to think, you know, of how the goalposts have already moved to be where I am now. It's madness, because I never thought I'd be here, you know.
Mm-hmm. With every win, and with every title win, and every sort of like major step or milestone in your career, whether it's a win on a good opponent, or, you know, ticket sales are up, or whatever the kind of the goal that's been smashed, or the step that's been taken to further you along on the journey, when each of those happen, like, does it feel like you thought it would feel? Like, it is, because you're living your dreams essentially. So is it as you expected?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, yeah, I think so. It is. It's obviously when you achieve something you've always kind of set to do. It's massive. It's an amazing feeling, but it doesn't last that long. Which I think, for me, somebody like myself at least, is a good thing. Because if I started to think, well, you know, I've made it, I've achieved what I want to achieve, I'd probably get fed up. So I've always in life, I've always been one of these people. Like when I was 18, I was thinking, shit, like, I'd love to have one of these cars. I buy that car, within 1 week, I think that car's a pile of shit. and I want a new one. I've always been the same. So I think that's, for somebody like myself, it's a good mindset to have, that you just want more and more and more. Something's never really enough, to a certain extent.
Which is a fantastic place to be in terms of being a fighter, because you obviously have that hunger. But do you ever worry about, we'll say, way down the line when retirement comes, and
I do.
how do we replace that hunger?
I don't know. You know, I've spoken about this a lot recently. Obviously, I have no plans to retire anytime soon. I reckon I'll probably be involved in boxing for another 4 to 5 years. I've always kind of, I don't know why, but I've always had in my head 32 or 33, which is obviously like 5 years from now, maybe. But I've started talking about it a lot like lately. I just want to I want to get a business set up, or I want to get a gym open up and functioning before I finish boxing. So when I finish, I'm not left to do nothing for, I don't know how long, until things are set up. I want it in motion. So when I finish, in 2 weeks' time, I'm going to start doing that next thing. And I always need, as you said, these goalposts, because I don't know, I wouldn't like to say what I'll end up doing. And that's just being honest.
No, and I definitely, I appreciate your honesty, because it's like, you know, I think it's a relatable question, not only for fighters, but for people who have a hunger or a desire to succeed in their lives. It's like, when does that ever leave? Like, when do you get to sit down and go, I've done enough? You know, I don't think that people who have that in them are able to do that, whether it's a good thing or a bad thing.
Yeah, as you say, I think you have to look at it like both sides of the coin. Really, it's very good while you're involved in a sport and something competitive and all that kind of stuff. But afterwards, it can be a dangerous thing as well, because, you know, it can. I don't know. You know what I'm trying to say? It's like,
100%. Yeah.
It can make you make decisions you probably shouldn't, or you're trying to chase that buzz and you're trying to keep getting that feeling. And so for me, I just think it's important that I get something set up before I even get close to retirement. So I've got a path to go straight into, you know.
In terms of, we'll say, the ego sides of being a fighter and being involved in the sport, and obviously there's a lot of stuff that goes with being at your level. There's a lot of social media attention, there's a lot of media attention, TV and different things. And I know that, you know, Dominic in particular has always spoke about, you know, he tells a great story about, like, with Nas, and, you know, when they got to a certain level of fame, the fame started to change kind of how they operated, I suppose. So how do you kind of, I suppose, keep your feet on the ground and stay grounded to what the mission is, I suppose?
To be honest, don't get me wrong, I like that now while it's happening, but I don't really think that stuff will bother me too much, because I've never been that type of, I've never been the type to have like a big ego anyway. I'm just like, I'm just me. I live in the same street now as where I've lived in since I was a day old. Do you know what I mean? I'm not interested in, don't get me wrong, I want to get myself a nice big house and stuff like that, but I won't move far. I'll walk down the street. I'll go to Asda and I'll be there for an hour, because I make sure I could go for a pint of milk and I'll be there for an hour, because if someone wants to chat to me, I'll give them my time. Do you know what I mean? I'm not, like, I would never be the type of person to, you know, I haven't got time for that shit today. I'll feel bad if I walk away and don't give them some of my time, and especially like the young kids and that, because I never really had a great deal to look up to in terms of sport or and that. So if I can help children and younger kids, you know, like, just look at me and think, oh, you know, I'd love to be like him, or I want to achieve what he's achieved, then that's a fantastic feeling for me.
100%, and it's a very admirable quality to have as well. And especially, it kind of goes back to what we were saying earlier about, you know, the role of, or how impactful, you know, a person can be on a fighter. When we look at, obviously, like Kid Galahad, you know, the stories about when he started and being made to do the lines for hours on end, and, you know,
Yeah.
where he's ended up. And just, I suppose, like, you know, there's a handful of British fighters, you say, like your Ricky Hattons, your Joe Calzaghes, but these few different fighters, you know, you can count them on two hands. They went on to inspire an entire generation of fighters who are active now and who are champions now. And it's just amazing how, like, the sport of boxing kind of, you know, rotates like that, I guess.
Yes, obviously, as you mentioned, Joe Calzaghe there, he's always been a big part of me wanting to succeed. Obviously, watching him being Welsh, being unbeaten, multi-time world champion, and all that kind of stuff. But it is funny, and if I have, or if I ever can one day, I'd love to be the one to inspire more people to come through, for sure.
Yeah, no doubt. Especially
Must
in
be some
Wales.
feeling. Yeah, exactly. You're right, because there's not dozens of people. You know, it's only a handful of
Yeah.
people which which are at that level and which are in that position at the moment.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. You could be watching now, you could be inspiring the next generation. We don't know.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
I'm going to go into the question box and have a look and see what everyone wants to ask you. James Hawley, I had him on last night actually for an interview. He's asked you, what is the one thing that you enjoy the most in boxing?
Hurting people. I'm not getting in trouble for it.
Well, that's an honest answer.
True
Actually,
though.
Lee Eaton, when you logged off the first time, Lee Eaton logged on and he wants to know, can you confirm if you are the angriest man in boxing?
I would say I'm up there. I wouldn't like to be the one to, to give myself the title, but I would guess. I think I'm up
do,
there.
do you read kind of like the social media, you know, the fan banter and, you know, the different things? Because a lot of people have said that, you know, when you're in the ring, you're quite aggressive in terms of, you know, your style, your fat, you know, forward paced, and, you know, you just
Yeah,
have that
yeah.
kind of aggressive look.
So I'm one of these people, I got quite a short fuse, but generally, I'm quite chilled, to be honest with you. Like, I'm friends with everyone, I'll talk to anyone, I'm quite laid back, really, but it takes one thing and
Right,
I'll
give us
lose
an
my shit.
example. What is an example of something that you lose your shit over?
So today I come in happy as Larry, a little bit tired from the gym, but happy. Come in looking forward to a bit of breakfast, and my dog shit on the kitchen floor. Ah! I'm just smoke coming out of my ears. I'm thinking, fuck's sake.
Well,
That's minor, but like I can't really think of situations, but like somebody says the wrong thing to me, and I'll just want to punch their face in.
okay, well, you might send a list of things not to ask you just in case for future reference.
Yeah, I'll be coming to find you.
Yeah, don't know. Leave me out of it.
Man,
Right. Uh, Phil D74 has said, he's asked, you training in Sheffield, and he said, what was the decision to go to Sheffield? Like, were there not good enough coaches for you in Wales? And then he has #legend.
I wouldn't want to say there's not good enough coaches in Wales and be disrespectful, because there are a couple of good coaches. Even Gary, my previous coach, I still got a lot of time for Gary. We're still friends, and I think he's a good coach. You've got Tony Borg, Gavin Rees, even, who's a former gym partner of mine when I was with Gary. All good coaches, but I just think they weren't suited for my needs, and
Yeah,
just what I wanted in general. And
absolutely.
obviously, I spoke about earlier. I wanted to be away, a little bit further away from home as well, away from distractions and things which could potentially make me lose my way.
I hear you. Um, Cal MS, I think it is, has asked, what do you think of Mark Heffron as a fighter? And was he surprised at how easy you dismantled him? Thank you.
Well, yeah, he was obviously surprised. He thought he was going to come in and punch holes in me. He thought he was going to walk through me. But I obviously had other ideas. I knew, because I was obviously at light middleweight at the time, I was left without an opponent. Nobody would fight Mark Heffron. And they were like very surprised. And I said, well, I'll make the move to 160 and fight Mark Heffron. No worries, save the show. But going back, he was obviously surprised. He thought he was going to smash me. And to be honest with you, I think probably 80% of other people did. And I don't want to upset anyone, but I'll probably even go as far as my own promoter probably thought I was going to get smashed. And that's, you know, just being brutally honest. But yeah, I always knew I was going to win that fight, and I was always confident.
Good stuff. Let's see. Karen Smith has asked, if you could have 5 people round for dinner, celebrities, who would you choose? You can throw boxers in there as well.
Do you know what? Outside of boxing, I don't even know many celebrities because I don't care. I just like boxers. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I hear you. Right, 5 boxers then. Dead or alive, who are you bringing?
Tyson Fury, Mike Tyson, Muhammad Ali.
Yeah.
Miguel Cotto, because he's my favourite.
Oh, yeah.
And I reckon I'd have Julio Cesar Chavez, because fantastic fighter, and he seems a bit mad as well, so I think I'd get on with
him. Well, speaking of Cotto, there's loads of questions as well to ask how your dog Cotto is doing. Your new puppy who's shitting on your floors.
Pain in the ass. He's a fucking pain in the ass. It was all fun and games at first. Yeah, he's a puppy, you know, play with him. Oh, sorry, he's only a puppy shitting on the floor, it's fine. But now I'm just like, when's this stop? I can't wait for him to just get big and just chill. Stop biting. Stop making my fingers bleed. Stop shitting on the floor and biting my toes. I just want him to chill.
Well, hope when he gets bigger, he learns to not shit on the floor, because otherwise you just have bigger shits.
Exactly. Got my hands full then.
Yeah, absolutely. Right, I'll take 1 or 2 more, and then I'll let you get back. Phil D74 has said, Liam, you must be the most honest person. I will buy you a pint in Ponce when this is all over. Great chat. So there you go. You have a pint on the way.
Must be the most oddest person.
Honest.
Oh shit! Doesn't say fuck me.
No, honest. Right? It's a nice message. It's a nice message. I wouldn't read out anything rude. No, I wouldn't do that to you.
No, I don't believe it. Fake shit. Just spit it out there as it is, and then if people don't like it, fuck them. That's their problem.
Exactly. Derek O'Shea has asked, love you as a fighter. Glad that you're in boxing, but did you ever consider a bit of rugby? You Welsh lads are great at it.
To be honest, I never really nothing rugby, nothing more than a bit of a laugh for the boys or whatever. But I used to play a bit of football when I was a kid. I was never any good. I was actually shit, to be honest. But every time somebody would tackle me or foul me or something, I'd end up beating them up. So it was just like, I knew I had to be involved in something which I was allowed to hurt people. And I won't get sent off for it.
Yeah. You get applauded for it and more money, isn't that right?
Exactly, yeah.
There's a really nice message here, and it's from Amelia, I think her name is Amelia Quinn. And she said, I love how you speak so highly of your daughter in interviews. When she gets of age, will you allow her to box if she wanted to fight?
It's a different. I wouldn't like her to, but it depends how much she wanted to do it. I'd try to turn her away from it, really, if I could, to be honest. But I don't know, because I don't really want to send out the wrong message to other young girls who, if they want to do it, and then I feel that's okay, and you know, chase your dreams and do what you want to do. But that's me just being protective as a father. I find it very, very difficult to see my daughter getting hit, you know. To be honest, even if I have a son in the future, I wouldn't overly encourage him to do it either, because it is a dog's game at times.
I hear you. I don't know many fighters who have kids that want to see their kids fight. I just think it's one of those things. And also, it's a tough sport. It's a tough grind. You want your kids to have an easy life, don't you?
Yeah, exactly. Hopefully I can achieve enough and earn enough money and do everything I can to make sure they wouldn't need to do that for money, at least. I mean, if it was purely because they were driven to do it, then I suppose you just have to just kind of back them for whatever they want to do.
Absolutely. Right. Very last question. Let's have a look. Oh, where am I gone? Oh, there we go. Robbie Davis Jr. has said, bring your screwdriver on Monday. You're helping me set up my bed. #Roomie. What's going on? You're going to share a little room together?
Hell no. There's a padlock on my door if he's coming here. Because I don't trust them Scousers. But yeah, I think he's gonna come and stay with me as of next week. Yeah, so I'm just gonna let you all into a little secret, right? He came to the gym yesterday, just for one day, and he's been calling out one of the lads, Joel, to spar. And Joel beat him so bad, he made him almost shit himself. He had to take his gloves off and run. So Robbie, next time you come to the gym, bring your bog roll, not a screwdriver, because that's all you're going to need.
Between Robbie and Cozzo, you're just going to be surrounded by shit, right?
I know. I'm dreading it already. Nah, I'm just kidding. Robbie's a good lad.
Yeah, 100%.
Robbie, love you, son. Keep it clean.
I think we're all so excited to see what happens with Robbie in the gym. I know that when I had Robbie on a couple of weeks ago for an interview, and he was obviously talking about, you know, going back to Sheffield, and after coronavirus, the lockdown was finished and stuff, and afterwards I got so many messages from people being like, he's just going to do so well around you guys and with Dominic. So really good to see.
Yeah, I'm excited about Robbie myself. Obviously, he's only had one bout with Dom. He's got so much ability. He knows it. Everybody else knows it. He's quality, and I just think with the right people around him and the right trainer, which Dom will be the right trainer for him, I think. And I believe he's going to do big things.
I hear you. Well, I will let you go. Get back to your evening. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks to you as well. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, no problem. I really
anytime.
appreciate it. And thank you very much. Thank you very much. Hopefully the next time I see you, it'll be in person. We'll have the shows back and you'll have a fight announced and it'll be all back to normal.
Yeah, 100%. And thanks everyone else for watching as well.
100%. And send my love to all the guys in the gym in the morning.
Will do. Take care, everybody. Ta-ra.
Take care. Bye.